Welcome everyone to this presentation. It's a little bit of a summary of Michel's Odent amazing book, Primal Health. And today we're going to talk about the integration and effects of the nervous, hormonal, and immune systems. Just to give you a little peek into part of the reason I'm so fanatically passionate about placental encapsulation and some of the surprising way that you might be affecting someone for the rest of their life through the gift of your encapsulation. I want to start with this quote that health is indissoluble. It cannot be cut and studied in pieces. We separate parts of the body and we separate our understanding of health in order to understand them precisely and accurately. And there is value to that. But would you say that you would have understanding of what, for example, a chocolate cake tasted like if you ate each of the separated ingredients individually? If first you ate the raw eggs, then the flour, now the sugar, you wouldn't think that you had experienced the culinary masterpiece of that baked good if you separated them out. And when health is separated out and theorized over, part of the essence cannot help but die. It's like a coal that's transported away from the fire, or if a flower is pulled apart for analysis, you've kind of destroyed the thing by trying to understand it. You cannot, as Emily Dickinson sarcastically advises, split the lark and find the music. So it is just as someone has said of beauty, it is essential to analyze beauty. It is essential to accept beauty unanalyzed. So it's essential for us to analyze health and how placental encapsulation might be sewing into someone's mental, physiological, and hormonal and immune health for the rest of their lives. But part of what I love about placenta encapsulators is that you guys as a group are off the charts in openness, and so there is such a willingness to move forward without having all the pieces and without fully understanding, and that is valuable as well. But today specifically, I want to share some of Michel Odent's work in Primal Health because he says that the responses of the nervous system, the hormonal system, and the immune system should never be dissociated. They form a whole. He believes that how newborns are treated affects their hormonal responses, this affects their immune system development, and that is the basis of their neurological and mental health. I want you to really take that in. As placenta encapsulators, you are laying a foundation based on more healthy hormonal responses for a more well-functioning immune system for the rest of that child's life and for a better functioning neurological and mental health state of that newborn for the rest of their life. Primal health is established in this primal period right after birth. That is what we are sewing into. He believes that the treatment of newborns affects their hormonal secretions. It's obviously true, which in turn affects their neurological and immune systems for the rest of their lives. He writes, when, for example, you caress a human baby or the young of any animal, you are also stimulating its immune system. Thus, primal health is built at that time when the baby is closely dependent on its mother, first in the womb, then during childbirth, and then during that period of early breastfeeding. Everything which happens during that period of dependence on the mother has an influence in this basic state of health, this primal health. Part of the reason this is so significant is because we now know that so much of our mental and physical illnesses are influenced by our stress. According to Dr. Bruce Lipton, he is a scientist who's made incredible strides in understanding the effect of our thinking and how that affects our brains. He says that there are a few gene disorders, such as cystic fibrosis, but these affect less than 2% of the population. He believes that for most of us, we came into this world with genes that should enable us to live healthy, happy, and long lives. He believes that a staggering 98% of the diseases that we have are related to our lifestyle choices, our thinking, and this basic state of primal health. There are other people who come up with other numbers, but as you are seeing, the American Medical Association is coming in at 75. Prominent organizations like the International Agency for Research on Cancer and the World Health Organization say that it's maybe up to 80%. What these people are communicating is that most of the diseases that plague us are stress and inflammation based. They're things gone awry in our immune systems and in our mental states that are really causing these effects, which is staggering. And it's such a privilege to be able to sow into this foundation early. Really, there's such a misunderstanding about genetic material. All the time, people, you'll see through the headlines, there's this fashionable concept of, well, there's a gene for this and a gene for that. You're depressed or an alcoholic or having a disability, a learning disability because you have a gene for it. Or we'll say things like, she has great genes. These things are commonplace. And really, this is not a helpful or scientifically or spiritually accurate way of thinking. You control your genes. Your genes do not control you. And I'm going to explain really quickly, just off the top of my head. Um, Really, thoughts initiate this sequence of actions of neurotransmitters and protein and energy that forms a signal. And this signal can be electromagnetic, it can be chemical, biochemical, and it can come from inside or outside of the body from toxins or whatever. But these signals, they amplify towards the front part of the brain and they stimulate the release of a specialized protein and a genetic expression. And these protein branches that literally look like a forest full of trees in our mind, if you ever saw really a picture of a negative thought, you'd never think one again. I'm pretty sure. The difference between a positive and negative thought on these brain scans is just crazy. But the signal that you've created passes through the membranes of the cells, travels to the cell nucleus, and it enters the chromosome and it activates a strand of DNA. So you literally can activate your DNA with your thoughts. When the signal arrives, the DNA is zipped up. It looks like it's in a cocoon until it's activated. And when that happens, it takes the DNA out of that dormant state and it can be read. So then once the code is read, the RNA makes a photocopy of that and it kind of serves as like this architectural plan to build proteins, and that's what genetic expression is. And so all of these proteins that you have caused to be built, they hold the information of your thoughts. So when you think a thought, it literally, physically, tangibly creates something in the world. At the very least, it creates a protein tree in your brain. And so your thoughts, they create these actual substances as molecules are assembled into proteins by the genetic instructions in our DNA. So these instructions really dictate the anatomy and physiology of our body, and we control up to 90% of this process through thinking. So really what studies have found is that when we experience anger or fear or frustration, that this causes our DNA to change shapes according to our thoughts and feelings. It makes the DNA respond by tightening up. It becomes shorter, it switches off many DNA codes, and it literally causes a reduced quality expression of your DNA. So when you feel shut down by negative emotions, your body experiences that too, and down to a genetic level. You literally have reduced quality of genetic expression when you're feeling negative. But here's the great part, you can reverse this through feelings of love, joy, appreciation, and gratitude. Is that so powerful? It's incredible. So I just want to encourage you, there are so many bioactive, bioavailable compounds in the body, and I'm not in this course going to get into the pharmacokinetics of how all of these enter and move in and through the body, because in Brilliant Earth Academy, you are a part of one of the very few academies that actually goes through each of these subsets and explains how all of these are taken into the body, what their bioavailability is, how they function, and how they might be used to support that so many different things, including um, giving the mother an energized yet calm, focused, loving attention that she can direct to her newborn and establish that incredible bond that's going to affect that baby's mental state for the rest of their life. So many of us just are plagued with this vague sense of, I'm not okay, there's not enough, I don't feel connected to other people, I don't have my needs met. And guess what? All of that mental state is laid down in this primal period, and through neurogenesis you can heal that and you can fix that. I know that I've done that for myself, and I've led other people through that process as well. So it can be done, but how beautiful to give someone the gift of, from the very first days, going through their life with this incredible sense, this incredible immune system that's been boosted, this incredible sense of connection and peace, this sense that there is enough. I have abundance. I am responded to. Like, as a woman, how much activity happens in your life because you just want someone to respond to you and to your needs? I don't even have a language for how vitally important this investment is that you're going to be making in the life of this newborn as a placental encapsulator. And I just want you, when you are at that threshold, that door, whether they invite you in or whether you just hand over the pills, if you just glimpse the baby that maybe has been left on the couch by the mother as she comes and opens the door, or ideally someone else is opening the door. But as you go to drop off those pills, if you just get a little glimpse of that baby, I want you to think to yourself every single time, I have so deeply blessed this baby. Their life will be different because of my work. Thank you for choosing to become a placental encapsulator. I literally think you're doing some of the most important work on the planet. I'll see you in the next lesson.